Hello, Team Syndicate. This is Team Cube's response to your discussion of conflicts during the performing stage. One of the conflicts you mentioned was complacency among members that could happen during the performing stage. In order to counter this complacency or get rid of it, when making decisions and during that process of the decision-making process, you should understand how everyone is different and how basically the different traits of everyone and how they work and how they think, since, like I said, everyone is unique. Also, include that person. Make sure that person is included in every single decision and hear their feedback on what they have to say. That way that they're pretty much forced in a way to be included, and you can actually hear what they actually really have to say about it, if they really are a complacent person or if they're not. But that way we'll get your whole team to work together and should provide some good synergy for your team to continue working well. Brittany?
I like to add to that. I think if your team is becoming complacent, I think that you should continue to challenge yourselves. And if you're not challenging yourself, you should actually challenge yourself, because I think that'll help to get you out of that complacent place that you've fallen into, and change things up. You know, if you keep things the same and you don't try new things or new ideas, you'll end up, you know, regressing instead of progressing. You don't want to fall back into a previous stage. You want to continue, you know, progressing with the performing stage and going into, you know, whatever's next with your team. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to add on that when people join a team, they don't necessarily go back to the stages of the earlier stages of team development when new members come on. So in most cases, individuals, they see where they fit, and they don't always dive straight into teamwork. Instead, they might dissect the situation because they're new. You guys need to help make those people feel comfortable, just like Adam was talking about. Make sure everyone is known, kind of forcing them into something that would help out new people coming aboard. Anyone else?
I'm going to go ahead and say that dealing with complacency, really it's just everyone getting comfortable. And when people get comfortable, you tend to let things slide. Things tend to not be exciting anymore, and you really got to pump some of that motivation back into it. And I think the best way of dealing with complacency is basically cutting it before it even gets started. You got to make sure that everything you do is exciting, or you're looking forward to the next project, and you got to make sure you motivate each other. You know, you got to make sure that you're not letting your teammates get used to something. You want to make sure that whenever they're doing something, and if they're not doing it to the utmost of their ability, that you kind of pump them up. You want to be like, hey, buddy, I see that you're not doing as well as you should. You know, let's try this, or let's do it this way, or what happens if we just scrap the whole thing and try it this way? You know, you always got to infuse some new things into the project to try to keep everyone on their toes. And that's really the key concept, is keeping everyone on their toes.
So as far as complacency goes, it really is like unacceptable for it to show up in the performing stage, since you probably faced complacency back to the norming stage. So at this point, it can be really damaging to the team's performance. And basically, in a decision-making scenario, you have to make sure that everybody's pretty much being honest as their decision, their feedback. Make sure that they're truly speaking their mind and not just saying something to get by and get this over with. So it's really just make sure you keep everybody on, like Josh said.
You just gotta really hear them out, like honestly hear their feedback, and then determine how serious or what their attitude really is. Is that basically what you're saying, Anibal?
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely agree with that. So, does anyone else have anything to add to this?
I just want to add that it's good to be comfortable with one another in your team, but you just don't want to fall too comfortable. That you let things slide when you shouldn't let things slide. Like if someone doesn't do something they're supposed to, but you say, hey, it's okay because, you know, you're my friend or family, as you've stated in your original post. But, I mean, you can be family, you can be friends, you can be whatever, but nothing should slide, especially when you have deadlines and projects to do. You should focus on those, and if someone's not doing their job right, call them out on that. Let them know that, hey, this is not okay. We can't fall into this attitude. We can't fall into this work. We have to do what we have to do, and you need to own up to that.
Okay, so these are our ways that you can address your conflicts with complacency throughout the performance stage. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.